I remember the night the air refused to move. The torches flickered against stone walls wet with fog, and the king's chamber smelled of iron and wine, the kind of scent that doesn't wash away. His cup lay overturned, his hand frozen mid-reach. I wasn't supposed to be there. Servants like me don't enter without being called. But the silence drew me in, thick, wrong, alive. Someone whispered behind the curtains before slipping out the side door, soft as a confession. I saw the reflection in the goblet before it shattered, a ring, gold, bearing the royal crest. The king's brother wore that ring. I should have screamed. Instead, I cleaned the floor. And by dawn, they said the king died of fever. But I know fever doesn't leave teeth marks on a tongue. They buried him with full honor, banners high and mourning rehearsed. But the castle changed overnight, corridors colder, whispers sharper. I was questioned once, lightly, as though my words meant nothing. They should have left it that way. A parchment arrived in the laundry room 2 nights later, unsigned, folded twice, marked with a faint crimson stain. You saw more than you should have. Stay silent. But guilt is louder than threats. I began to notice things others ignored, the steward's trembling hands, the sudden wealth of the apothecary, the way the prince avoided the chapel. I copied the night's records, the kitchen's timings, even the guard rotations. Every detail felt heavier than the last. Truth, I learned, doesn't whisper, it waits. And when you start listening, it never stops. By the 4th week, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the goblet fall again, the soft ring before the crack. The servants started avoiding me. They said I talked in my sleep, that I repeated one phrase over and over. He didn't drink alone. I tried to believe I imagined it all, that grief makes monsters of memory. But then the queen stopped wearing her wedding ring, the one with the matching crest. When I asked the physician about the king's final moments, he stammered. Fever burns from within, he said, but His Majesty froze before he died. That's when I understood. This wasn't about succession or power. It was about survival, theirs, not his. And the city I served, the kingdom I fed, was built on a corpse I had helped hide. Every prayer sense felt like perjury. The truth surfaced not through courage, but through accident. A storm tore open the old archives. I was ordered to burn the damp scrolls, but curiosity is a curse I've never shaken. Among the ruined ink, I found a sealed decree, dated 2 nights before the king's death. It named his brother as heir in the event of unforeseen illness. Illness, not war, not accident, illness. And beneath the seal, a second mark, faint, pressed into the wax before it dried. The Queen's ring. I stood there, trembling, the paper warm in my hands as if still breathing. I didn't need confession. The proof was enough. The kingdom's sickness hadn't begun that night. It had simply revealed itself. And I, the servant with blood on his conscience, had become the last witness left alive. I didn't storm their chambers. I didn't shout or accuse. I left the decree where it belonged, inside the royal chapel, beneath the saints' glass eyes. The next morning, the bishop found it and read it aloud during Mass. The queen fainted. The brother fled before noon. The guards turned on each other before sunset. I never claimed credit. I simply watched from the crowd as justice crawled through marble halls like smoke, quiet, choking, unstoppable. They say the brother drowned on his way to exile. They say the queen's illness returned. I say history corrects itself when truth is patient enough. And patience was the only weapon I ever had. Years later, I still pass the old castle walls, vines covering stone, silence covering sin. They turned the chamber into a chapel, but I can still smell the iron beneath the floorboards. People call me loyal for staying. They don't understand. Loyalty isn't virtue. It's guilt that's learned to breathe. Sometimes I dream of that night, the ring, the goblet, the eyes that never opened again. I wake cold, calm, alive, because justice was never about mercy. It was about remembering. And this city remembers even when it pretends to forget.